Hello, welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Today we're going to do another unboxing. A game that we've been looking at for quite a while. It's Carpe Diem, another game by Stefan Feld. We have The Year of the Dragon. I think it's The Year of the Dragon. Of course, his most popular game, which Castles of Burgundy. Of course, I forget it now. But I'm playing a lot of Stefan Feld games lately, and and a friend of mine wanted me to get this, and it's been on my list for probably about close to a year now, if not a year, close to a year. Almost got it a bunch of times, but then never did. But decided I got a free 1-day shipping on Amazon, and it came down in price to where it was the original price I wanted to get it. So I decided to get it. Plus, also they came out with a second printing already, but it changed some core mechanics. Well, I think to be core mechanics in the game. Did improve some of the artwork in it a little bit, but there was I'll get to that on the unboxing. But something that I wanted to get the first edition of that the second edition does not have. It changed the rules a little bit, and I kind of like the first edition of it. So anyway, I got this, and it is the first edition. When I ordered it, I wasn't sure what I was going to get, but I was fairly confident that it was going to be the original edition, first edition, first printing, which it is. So anyway, it's by Ravensburger again. Again, probably not my favorite company to print games, but as far as components go, but you know, decent quality, just not the best, I don't think. But again, it's by Ravensburger and Alea. So let's open it up. If I can. Oh, very tight plastic on this one for some reason. Okay. Alright. There we go. So of course we'll start with the rule book in multi-languages, and this one is one of the languages, which I'm not sure. Maybe German. And there is the English version, of course. And again, they can do this because the components are really language independent, which is kind of cool. So they just a lot of symbology. But again, I'll get to the game board here. But this is kind of the main reason why I got this edition. I can see it. There's like a star in there. But basically, when you go, this is an action wheel, it's a tile taking placement. You put your meeple here, and you get to pick one of the two lines that it goes from there to here, and then you bounce kind of as you go. So you kind of have to plan your actions, which I think is really a good strategy. And Rado, who from Rado runs through it, also likes this version. In fact, he put this game as #1 of the year from last year until they switched this up. I mean, he still likes the game, but so basically what ends up happening is that you no longer bounce, so you have to plan it strategically. You just pretty much either go, if you're right here, you either go to the left or to the right, and you just go around the wheel like that, which, I can see why. I mean, some people didn't mind it, but I think it takes away from the game when you do that a little bit. But anyway, so that is that. And different types of buildings you get. So basically, I'll read the back of the box. I didn't do that yet, which I normally do. I'll do that after I get done everything, since I forgot to do that this time. Just wanted to get the box open. And there's no victory point track. You collect cards, victory point cards. But there's a little bit of take that. This is kind of the take that section, as you'll see. basically end a game, end a round scoring. You can block other players out and stuff from getting certain things. And there's a little bit too, as far as when you take the tiles, you can kind of like, I guess they call it hate drafting. I just call it trying to do the best you can for yourself, but sometimes you can't, and you have to take someone that's going to benefit somebody else. So, all right, and then here's the third language one. Ooh, actually, is this the third language one? These look like they're two English ones in here. Oh, this isn't English. See, that's how language independent it is. That wasn't even the English one, as you guys probably picked up on. This looks like maybe the Spanish one. Or the Italian one. But anyway, this is the English one. But again, it's the same thing. Here we go. Alright, so those are the rule books there. See what else we got here. We got our wooden player markers here. Standard wooden ones. And here are the goods. So again, actually the goods and your players that go on that wheel there. So this is your player here. I guess it's supposed to be like a guy in a robe there, I guess. Here are just the different pieces and everything. So I think these are the grapes, I believe. Green grapes for some reason. Chickens. Oh, these are the grapes. I'm sorry. Of course, grapes have got to be grape. I don't know why I thought these were. I can't remember what these are. I know these are the fish right here. What are these? Pears, maybe, or something? Let's see if we can find out here. Herbs. So herbs, that makes sense to be green. Okay. But again, these don't really, there's not a lot of these, as you can see. There's only 5 of each kind of grapes, herbs, chickens, and fish. And kind of wish they would have put more in there, maybe 10 or so, about maybe 10 or 12, 3 per player or something. But I guess what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to turn them in after a while to score points on, and I think when you get a certain amount, you're supposed to turn them in for gold, which is a universal currency in the game, for scoring and everything. But anyway, not going to get too much into the gameplay, but so those are your pieces, decent quality, okay, I guess. All right. And let's see here. So here are the different houses and markets and stuff you can get. And here are the ponds you can build. And when you build the ponds, you get fish. So, for instance, if you build a pond that's 2, like say these 2 are connected right here, to make a full pond, that would you get 1 fish, so you get 1 less fish, depending upon how many tiles you did. And then the markets you get gold, and these you get cards for, and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I'll show you the player boards in a second. Alright, so, and the coloring on some of these is very hard to tell apart. These aren't too bad. Like these right here, you build for the chicken pens right here. And you can build like, multi-length ones. These are for the grapes, I think. Grape fields. And these are for buildings you build. You collect chimneys on those. You build villas, I think. Types of buildings. And here, I won't show the game board yet, but you also have these right here. So each player is going to get 4 of these. You build like a square, and then inside that square, I think it's like 36, like a 6x6 grid or 5x5. I think it's 6x6. So you're going to take tiles and build stuff within your thing. And then these are the coins. These are for a certain track. You go on, you collect these to move up on a certain track, which determines player order, and which is very important in this game. Player order is definitely an important part of this game. Again, more track sides, and these are going to be varied. So again, there's plenty of playthroughs in this, so I'm not going to really go over that. And then right here is bread. They did improve in the second printing the bread tokens here. These don't look like bread that well, I guess. They kind of made a cut in them in the sequel and changed the color a little bit. So it looks more like bread. These are the gold coins. And you get victory points for if your building goes through these things right here. So yeah, some of those. Different more tiles. Oops, that way there. These aren't too bad thickness, I guess. And again, more things for your player board. So you're constructing your own player board. So it's going to be different every time, so that's kind of neat. More tiles. And again, these tiles right here and these ones right here, you can kind of tell the difference in here, but this one and this one actually. But on the board, when they're down there, it's kind of hard to tell which one is which. Can be a little bit for scoring purposes and for telling which ones are like these right here. So in the second printing, they color corrected them a little bit. Let's see here. Actually, those are the frames for the player boards, and then these are the actual player boards right here. If I can get these separated. These are a little thin, kind of like in Castles of Burgundy. Kind of wish these were a little thicker. But these are, you're going to be placing, so it's a 6x6 grid, and you're going to be placing, sorry for the glare, you're going to be placing the borders around this, and the borders will show you right here. So right here, so you're going to put the border in there, and then put 4 of these around. So, anyway, so that'll change how you score there a little bit. Right here, and then right here. So 1, 2, 3. I think it's 4-player. Yeah, up to a 4-player game. I don't think there's an official solo variant. Well, official solo variant to the game, but I think you can. Probably our Board Game Geek. There are some. So another thing too, which they fixed in the other version. So I guess there's 2 other versions. The second printing, and then there was another version too. I think I want to say it's a Dice Tower. One of the there is a video out there on the 3 different versions of Carpe Diem too. But anyway, these right here are dark green, and then these are lighter green, and these can be kind of hard to tell because there's certain tiles you have to separate. I think it's the first 2 or 3 rounds. I think it is our light green tiles, and then in the last round the dark green tiles, and they're kind of hard to tell. So I think what they did is they did something to improve it a little bit. They made it I think they made it a little darker or something that. And then in the other version that they have, they actually put like a certain symbol on here which would have been probably a smart thing to do on some of the darker tiles or whatever, or just so you can tell the difference between the 2, because you don't ever have to use the backs of the tiles. So it's not like they're like cards and you have to have the same back for everything. So it could have been anything. They could use any symbol. They could use, just put a 4 in the back of the ones you use on the 4th round or something like that. But anyway, so yeah, these are the components and everything. And that is pretty much it. That is Carpe Diem. So let's read the back of the box here a little bit. There's not much here. So let me see if I can get this focused on here. Let's see if you guys can read it. Kind of can't get the camera out there. Anyway, let me see if I can. Alright, I guess that's good enough. But it's just that left side. They're all different languages there. So it's Rome 1 BC. That's an interesting choice of time. As influential patricians, you set out to improve your city districts, grow bountiful herb and vegetable gardens, cultivate ponds rich with fish, build lavish villas and various other dwellings for your servants. The day is yours to seize seize and looks like their English is wrong here. The day is yours to see. Oh, day is yours to seize, and the city ripe for rebuilding. I just read it wrong. A sophisticated and intriguing tile-laying game with high replay value due to its variable game replay. So again, 2 to 4 players there. I'm trying to read what that says. Ages 10 and over. 45 to 75 minutes. Maybe. Depending upon if you have any players that have AP in the game. And then, not sure exactly what that last section is. Oh, 3 out of 10 as far as complexity. Yeah, I'd say that's probably about right. It's not too overly complex. Again, though, you can have somebody who has AP to analysis paralysis will definitely make it a little bit longer. So that's it there. And I didn't show you one other thing. It's the cards. So you have 2 sets of cards here. These are... Whoops. Put the camera back on. These are some victory points, I think, in here. Looks like some other stuff in here, too. I can get these open. But these are going to add to the variability here. The let's see here if I can separate these out. Oh, these aren't these. These are actually the... let's see if I can show you these. These are going to be set up in like a grid, and you put your coin in between, say 2 of these right in the middle here. So it's going to be set up in a grid, and at the end of each round, you can take that action, and you have to complete objectives here. If you can't complete an objective, you lose 4 points, but you can score points or score resources for other stuff. And yeah, like this is victory points for that type of house you have or building. So you can see there's not too much difference in the colors there. 7 points if you have one of each of those. These are for you if you have the different types of fields, for chickens and grapes, vineyards and stuff. 3 points for every vineyard, 2 points for every fountain, every 2 fountains, 3 points for every 2 fountains. And this different, you get a coin and bread if you, I'm not sure exactly what those are. Complete certain buildings, maybe it's any building, any villa type thing. And this is for resources which you turn in. But anyway, it's going to be set up in a grid, so as you can see here, you can set them up like this. There's going to be cards like all around this, and you can only go to one spot per round, and you leave your tokens there from round to round, so it's going to fill up during the game. So you can block other players in it, but kind of interesting little concept there. But lots of cards, as you can see here. So I think you take this A, B, C, and D cards in here, and you take a certain amount from each one. And then here, I think these are going to be a combination of every time you build a fountain on your player board, you get these are for endgame scoring. Some of the, so you'll get a choice of 2 cards. Like say you picked, well, not those 2, but well, just say you picked. See if we can get a different one in here. These 2 right here, you get to pick one of these 2 right here, and then it gives you an endgame focus. Like every pawn you build, you get 2 points. And then for every, I think, completed villa you make, you get 2 points and so forth. So there's a whole bunch of these. Let's see if I can figure out how many. Yeah, so right here, so a whole bunch of those. And then these right here are what I was talking about earlier. The victory points are on the cards. So there's no like track or anything like that, but you just turn these in to get, at the end of the game for your victory points. So I guess it's an interesting way to do it, something different to do. There's some of the other games that do this, but so those are in the cards there. So that is it. That is Carpe Diem by Stefan Feld. Definitely like Stefan Feld. So again, there's theme in it, but there's not really theme. Very dry theme. But that's okay. I don't mind that. As long as it's got good mechanics, it's for me. I mean, some games I like theme in. Some games, if they have really good mechanics in, I don't necessarily need a lot of theme. And this is one of those. So, take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next unboxing video. I think we're done for now for a little while, until we decide to get more games. So bye-bye now. Have a good night.